Hello, everyone. This is Caleb Boudreau, the editor-in-chief of AnExtraordinaryLife.online, and this is the Joystick Junkies podcast. Today, as always, he's like a plague. You really can't get rid of him. It is Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan, a release radar on YouTube.
And we have, as always, John. He's just been sitting in the background his whole life. You know, he just sits in the background and just watches.
Yes, the backroom lurker, otherwise known as Kozis TV.
You sounded really Bostonian there. That was pretty good.
Good.
So today we have a little bit of an ARC update. So they finally saw all the controversy that everything started, and I think they kind of feel bad for it all, you know? So they revised their remaster. It is no longer going to be called the Respawned bundle. They said, "Our bad. We recognize how combining Ark Survival Ascended and Ark 2 and requiring further DLC upgrades wasn't optimal, especially since you wouldn't be able to judge Ark 2 with no gameplay or content being available yet. So here are our new plans. Ark Survival Ascended will now be a standalone package released on every platform: PC, Windows, Steam, Xbox Series S, X, and PS5, starting at $59.99. But the package will include the following pieces of content built in, not sold separately, with each remastered and altered for the next generation: The Island, Survival of the Fittest, Scorched Earth, Aberration, Extinction, Genesis Part 1, and Genesis Part 2, with all of the community-created maps also being released over time in 2024. So, still got to pay $60 for it, but at least you get the actual remaster treatment now. It's not just you have to pay extra for the DLC again.
Didn't they initially say that it was going to be free for Ark Survival Ascended? Because there was a quote that I found on a Steam review that says, "With the launch of Ark Survival Ascended at the end of August, we will sunset all official servers on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, for Ark Survival Evolved. At that time, the final save data from the Ark Survival Evolved official servers will be uploaded for the players to rehost on their own servers or play in single-player / non-dedicated servers." So it's like, it initially seemed as if they were just going to do a free upgrade and allow you to carry over all of your stuff. Are they still going to let you transfer your stuff to Survival Ascended, or are they going to now charge you instead of giving it to you for free, and you have to start your servers from scratch again?
Yeah, so they are going to... So they actually addressed that too. All in the same press release that all of this happened. They said, "Initially, when we first considered doing an Unreal 5 upgrade, we planned just to port the Switch version of the game and undo the graphical limitations required for that hardware. We weren't going to maximize the potential of the new technology, we weren't going to introduce new gameplay changes, and we weren't going to make critical design changes that would have had an impact on existing save data. After carefully considering what would be the best outcome for those who enjoy Ark Survival Evolved and would want to continue to enjoy it for years to come, we decided that our initial plan would not be sufficient. We want to provide you with an evergreen classic Ark experience, one that would continue to grow over time on a cleaned up code base, making use of the new technological advancements not only in the industry, but also what we are working on with Ark 2. We weren't trying to mislead you with earlier comments. Our plans and overall intentions changed, so you're probably asking, why don't we make these upgrades to the original Ark Survival Evolved? Frankly, it would not be viable. Many of the changes we're making in Ark Survival Ascended will touch a lot of the aspects of the game. It'll invalidate save data, some mods may not be functional, some things may not play the same way as they did before, and we didn't want to change that experience for those who prefer it or are unable to upgrade." So they said basically they continue to go on talking about how anything unofficial, so player hosted servers, and like third party hosted servers won't be affected by all of this. They'll still be up, but all in all, it's just going to be official servers that are forcing the transition because of the equipment that those servers are running on.
Okay, well, so I have a couple questions about this. One of which is, what's incentivizing PC players to upgrade to this version? Because PC players will probably just stick with Survival Evolved until Arc 2 comes out. I don't really see a reason why they would bother dropping $60 on an upgraded version of the same game when a sequel is still planned to release in the near future. So that doesn't... Well, is there any gameplay yet of Survival Ascended? Have we seen if it looks that much better yet?
To my knowledge, they haven't, and even through this press release, they haven't said anything. But they did say that they plan on supporting Ark Survival Ascended with new features, content drops, creatures, items, structures, and DLC after release, including DLSS, photo mode, dino and baby management quality of life changes, wild babies that you can, like, I guess, tame while they're children to make taming easier, I guess. I'm not sure. Cross-platform multiplayer and full blueprint modding. And they say, and I quote, "I know we mentioned this before, but we're super serial." They said serious. It's happening on PC and consoles at launch, and we've got it working internally with Overwolf technology. This dramatically changes the nature of the console experience. So it's apparently going to be, what's the name of the game? Like, how isn't Diablo 2 still getting somewhat content upgrade, like updates?
They are actually. They're continuing to implement. Well, they're testing a lot of their ideas that they wanted to implement into Diablo 4 with Diablo 2 Resurrected. So it was kind of a testing phase before 4 had come out. They were able to add in certain features to upgrade Resurrected and add in quality of life features. But if they are successful, they are things that were going to be implemented in 4.
Gotcha. So it's essentially that, like Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, how they're both getting content drops simultaneously, despite being two separate generations of game. So I would assume that's why.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure.
So, okay, one of my other questions about this is they're sunsetting the official servers for Ark Survival Evolved on console. Is Ascended coming to Xbox One and PS4? Because if it doesn't...
Ascended is, because it's on Unreal Engine 5, it's only on Series S, X, and PS5.
So... if you bought Ark Survival Evolved on last generation consoles and you don't have a PS5 or an Xbox Series S or X yet, are you just kind of shit out of luck?
No,
like, can you not play the game anymore?
No, so you can still do single player and you can still do player hosted servers.
And
so
are there player hosted servers for consoles though, is my question.
Yeah, so I have a group of friends that used to play it religiously, like loved the game. They actually went out and bought another Xbox used at GameStop specifically to host a server. And it would just be plugged in the side of the room. All they had to do is turn it on. They had a small little TV that they would be able to actually activate the software on, turn off the TV, and then whoever wanted to come and play it could play it.
That's so weird. And so... what you're saying about the whole Diablo thing also reminds me of Arma, because Arma 3 is still getting DLC and content drops, but there's also Arma Reforger, which is like a testing ground for the engine that's going to be in Arma 4. Yeah. And so they're like implementing engine tests and trying things out with Arma Reforger that are going to, if they work well in the engine on a large scale, those are going to be implemented into Arma 4 when that eventually comes out, like the next year or two.
During the discussion about Ark, I had a question and then I had a comparison I'd also like to make. Okay. So one of the questions I had, and I wrote it down as soon as I heard it. And the way it was phrased, it was about removing graphic limitations, and it almost sounded like you were saying that they had intentional graphic limitations tied to Arc
on the Switch port. Graphical
okay, so they were
limitations.
going to bring the game to the Switch.
Yeah, so the original intention was to do all, like, Survival Ascended was supposed to be like an update and then bring the port to the Switch and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But then they were like, no, because we're doing all of these different gameplay changes and quality of life improvements, and they just rather do a free upgrade alongside the Switch release. They're just like, why don't we just do a complete refresh of the first game entirely?